All right, so yesterday was kind of a strange day. Woke up late from having night terrors. I got to the gym about half an hour late. Then I talked to my school teacher, um, friend, I guess, with the kids in. I guess they are at the end of high school, just getting ready to go to college. They're in that 18 to 20. I think the younger one's 18 and the older one's 19. And so she's got these kids that she doesn't know what she's going to do with. She knows that home ownership is not going to be likely for them, but she's rich enough so that they have new cars and that they have comfortable places to live. And yet that's all they get. And she's concerned because the older one doesn't seem to show any interest in an education. He works as a low level mechanic. And yesterday, when I asked where she saw her children in 5 years, she said one, the mechanic child being a person that is leveled up as a mechanic, and the girl being graduating from ASU. And so I thought, well, I mean, as a parent, as a 60-year-old woman, and that's about all that you can really think about the success of your children is that you're going to have to take care of them in the long term. But after that, I was getting messages from Mello that she wanted to meet up, and we just drove all around the city for the next few hours. In fact, I think she got here like at 9:30, and then we drove around until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon with a pit stop at Kroger's, and we looked at what she does for a living inside the actual store. And I'm still thinking about, moving over to doing what she does for a living. It's not glamorous. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of driving, all the things that I don't like doing. But in a world in which things are changing in real time, having to leave your comfort zone in order to make money is something that many of us don't like. We all have a tendency to stay where we're comfortable when it comes to work, but unfortunately, sometimes those opportunities turn into crap. I mean, I have left every single job I've ever had and not voluntary. So I'm looking, I put some of this information into the chat GPT and it gave me two talking points. I'm going to read them out loud because I'm not going to cut them off this time. Sometimes when I'm trying to fill time, I'll just read the whole thing because I'm just going to react to what it wrote. So here we go. Traditional career paths often promised growth through promotions, but in today's job market, advancement can be slow or non existent. Companies frequently hire external or require additional qualifications, leaving loyal employees stuck in entry level or mid tier roles. This is what I noticed about my most recent look into jobs on Indeed for my regular job that I do is all of the certification requirements for certs that don't have any meaning. They're entry level jobs with entry level certifications. You're like, if you're looking for someone that just graduated from college that's going to have three certifications, you're not going to find that person for $15 an hour. And as many of you say, they're not trying to fill these jobs. What they're trying to do is get to a point where they can show that they've tried really hard to find someone in America that will do these jobs, but they're going to have to find someone overseas to do the job because no one here wants to work anymore, especially not for the wages that they're offering with that many certifications. The amount of certifications that they want would take years to get for an entry level minimum wage job. And when you're looking like that, if you're looking for employees while requiring ridiculous requirements, a 4 year college degree, so many years, 5 to 10 years of experience, and then the pay is minimal, well, you have to start looking at moving to something else because they aren't really looking for the person that is going to apply to that job because there used to be like 20 years ago the junior admin used to be a job that you would see. And somehow the junior admin or junior anything with entry level qualifications seemed to vanish as the markets became more and more saturated with senior level employees like myself who have to take entry level jobs. But even now, the senior level jobs that are out there where people are being laid off by the hundreds, by the thousands, believe Nissan just laid off 9,000 people because the production just isn't there. And I mean, when you look at numbers like that, that's just one company. As the economy slows down and wages go down with it, you're going to have to spend more time looking for jobs that aren't within your comfort zone. And so when advancement is non-existent, like at my company, the all the people I work with have all been there. I think at 3 years, I might be the youngest employee that works there. Everyone else has been there 6 to 8 years, and I know that they're not getting compensated. Last year there was no raises. The year before that were tiny raises, and you're like, okay, so the corporate profits are obviously there, or else they would have shut down every single evil corp in America. There's always record profits, but when it comes to wages, they would rather downsize and cut positions that pay too much in order to get more entry level people into these jobs. That's their way of maintaining wages at the lowest possible levels, making certain that you never get anyone that's comfortable or always hiring people who are underqualified for positions and then being disappointed in the fact that they're not as good of a worker. I mean, that's happened to me. Every single Gen Zero that I've had working for me in the past 3 years has just been a constant disappointment. They're just not interested in the work as the way that the corporation wants it. They want more mental health, they want more life balance, they want to travel more. But when you're living in survival mode, there isn't extra money for travel. You're not going to get 2 weeks or 3 weeks of vacation in your first year and then money sufficient enough to travel. It's a trap. And if you start doing things like taking out a car loan or getting a house or starting a family, that trap becomes harder and harder to escape from to the point where you're so dependent on Evil Corp that they can treat you like absolute garbage and you're not going to leave. So, yeah, that's kind of the situation I'm in where the money is at a point where I can't just walk across the street and make more money. All right, so moving on to our second talking point. The workforce is shifting with more people working multiple jobs or side hustles to make ends meet. Exploring new fields, remote work, or freelance opportunities can lead to more control over income time rather than waiting for one job to provide everything. So, I think I'm going to have to do multiple jobs and then not have a full time job, which means that I'm not going to have health benefits, which is one of the main reasons that people get into bed with Evil Corp is health benefits. And not having those health benefits is very, very bad. It can lead you to a very dark place if you get sick. And it's very easy to have a fall. It's easy to just randomly get sick. I mean, all of us are super stressed out all the time. That lowers your ability to fight off disease. And then somehow you get sick, especially at this time of the year when the temperatures are changing. People just get sick, and you're just kind of like left in a place where if you don't have medical insurance, you're going to suffer a lot. I've had walking pneumonia without insurance for a long time. And it feels terrible because if you have to go in to get anything done, anything, you're like left with a $1,500 bill while you're struggling to stay alive. So having to work a lot of remote jobs or freelance or like TaskRabbit, like doing things like that. I mean, sure, it's money, but it's not. You're not comfortable. And I think we're living in a society in which we're becoming less and less comfortable. When pensions started going away and they started replacing pensions with 401ks because let's face it, no one's going to stay at Evil Court for 20 years to be able to retire on a pension. It just isn't going to happen. And 401s are very transient ways of saving for something that may never happen, or people run into a problem in their life where they have to borrow from their 401k because they don't have a choice. So you're left in a bad place, like where I'm at right now, where you're not certain what you're supposed to do, but you know that you can't keep doing the same thing because it's driving you insane and you're not progressing in life. And that's the hardest thing for me to see in my own life is that there's no progression. There's no upward mobility, there's no progression, you're stressed out and you're being forced out of your job just out of sheer necessity. Even if I hadn't gotten all of these terrible things that happened to me, out of sheer necessity, I had to leave because if they're not going to keep up with inflation with at least $10,000 a year, then you have to leave because they will not offer you more. That's just not what they do. They'll offer you the same, or you can go out and find your own raise. That's the America we live in. You have to find your own raises because they just don't give a crap about you. And they expect for you to have that defeatist mentality where, like, well, this is the best that I can do, so I'm going to stay here despite the treatment that I'm getting because it's safer to stay here and be exploited and treated like crap than to go out there and look in the unknown.